This is Jacqueline Pessel, recording assignment 7 video. So since I'm on my laptop, it'll be kind of laggy and I feel like it'll freeze. Since I'm on my laptop as I'm in GDC right now, but I still wanted to at least turn something in. So I'm going to try and see if this records correctly. So I'm just going to go for it. So for the first question, it was, so I created a graphic object to handle shaders with texture. So I'll just show this is what the DXApp CPP looks like. Then I created the shader texture class. So I just have the cam and then the world struct with the view projection and matrix in it. So just basically was the same as the shader color, but taking out the color, and then having it load the texture instead. So here's the class. I have send camera, send world, and then set to context. And then for the graphic object texture, the corresponding graphic object class I made for this. So I just gave it a texture, and then the shader texture that I just showed. And then in here, I set the model and the shader, and then initialize the world matrix through the identity, set the texture on the world, and then I set the context right before it renders because I was trying to play with it, and I had a DXApp CPP, and then I was trying to figure out the logical place where to put that, and right before the render makes it work. So I put that in there so the graphic object handles that. And then, so I showed everything, so I'll show it run right now. And here that is. I know the UV mapping for the box is wrong, but I didn't want to worry about that too much right now because the homework assignment was more, it was for the graphic objects, not necessarily the map, so I just wanted to show that I had the graphic object set up with the shader texture. That's what I wanted to show. So there that is for question 1, and then question 2 was the creating it to work with the color shading using light. So I have these two windows open right now. I'll show so in DXApp CPP I have kind of the same thing, except I was setting up the specific methods for the directional and point light. So using graphic object color light, and then I just have the floating little box going around. Where is it? The draw. Yeah. Oh wait. There we go. Okay. So I have in the draw. Okay. So then I'll show the graphic object color light CPP. So I basically set it up kind of the same as before, with the set model, set shader, and initialize the color to a vector with all ones. But then instead of texture, set the color in the world. And then I wasn't sure like where to set the parameters for the light, because I know in the comment it said materials, or material properties will be vary by model, so it should be managed by the graphic object. So to do that, I just figured I would create a set materials method, so it just does it inside the graphic object. Oh, and the reason I had 2 is because I was thinking if you just want to set 1, like here, just set the color yellow, because it was from the lighting example. I noticed it did that with the materials. It just said 1, so I made 2. I wasn't sure if that was right, but that's so that's how I set up question 2 for the color shading using light. managed the materials within the graphic object with the set materials method. So I'll run that right now. And it's waiting for it to load. Okay. And there it is. The shader color light with the graphic objects. Okay, so that's question 2, and then so question 3. Oops, I didn't open that. Question 3. I got a little stuck on with this one. But first I'll show how I set everything up. So I tried to combine the graphic object color light with the graphic object texture, kind of, in terms of like the methods that it had. So I kind of did the same thing with having the spinning box, or with the light, like it was in the previous example I showed. So and then I'll just show here's shader texture light that I had to create for this one, and I just modeled it off of like the shader color light, but then just add texture in it. I ran into some problems trying to get the input layout right. It took me a while to even get it to show up because it was a blank blue window, and then I finally got it to a black. They were rendering, but it was in black, and then I got the texture on, and the texture doesn't look entirely right now, but it's not black, and I'm not sure why not either, because I think I got the layout right because it was blank and then it started appearing. So this, I'll just show this as the layout was. Then set camera, set point light, and then I feel like maybe in the set constant buffers is where I messed things up. But I was trying to play with the values, and when I tried to change these, instead of just like rendering black, it like rendering with a weird texture, it just was blank. Again, if I tried to change these, it was hard to, I guess, debug what was wrong, when my texture was appearing not right, or either black. Okay, so I just showed the shader texture class. I'll show the texture light HLSL file. So I wasn't sure if we needed main texture or sampler or not at the top. But here it is. Instance data, and then so I guess I'll just say the only changes that I really added here was adding the text chord in the VS output, and then I passed in the text chord in the vertex shader VS output method, and then I set it right here. And then at the end I was trying to do 2 different things. So at first I just did what was commented, the main sampler A with text color, and the thing that I was trying to now